Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I created this look right here, which, by the way, let me just tell you, I was so close to giving up doing today's look, you guys. This look is probably the hardest look I've ever done. There's like cut crease after cut crease after cut crease going on. So this look is actually a recreation of Mitchell's look. So Mitchell is currently doing Mondays by Mitchell, where he basically creates a look on IGTV, a full tutorial basically on exactly how to achieve the look, and you recreate it and use the hashtag Mondays by Mitchell, and you get entered into being able to win a spot on his PR list for his new makeup line, which is called Made by Mitchell. So this is the look right here. It's like a double cut crease going on. He had like flower petals and stuff on the lashes, which I did not do because, girl, this was already a lot of work in itself, but he looks stunning. I changed up the style of the look just a little bit, but it's still the same thing kind of, and it was actually inspired by Saskia. Let me actually show you guys a picture. She actually did the Monday by Mitchell, and you guys, she is honestly one of my favorite makeup artists I've ever seen. Like, her work is insane. Here is Saskia's version of the Mondays by Mitchell look, this week's Mondays by Mitchell. Gorgeous. She is so stunning and her work is incredible. So I definitely got some inspiration from her too. I just decided to change up the colors. I wanted to do something different and hopefully something that's going to help me stand out, because it would be a dream to be able to get on Mitchell's PR list. So like I said, this is the look that we're going to be creating today, and I am using my Be Perfect Carnival XL Pro palette. You guys know this palette never lets me down, and anytime I want to recreate a look or I see a look on Instagram that I want to accomplish and I need colorful shadows, this is always my go-to. I love this palette. I only used this palette in today's video to create this entire eye look. And really quickly before we jump into today's tutorial, girl, I was so into the look. First of all, I didn't even show you guys the colors like I normally do as I went, so I will actually go ahead and put the colors that I'm using in each step on the screen so you guys know exactly which color I'm using. And then I forgot to press record when I was doing my lower lash line. I know, fail today. So I wanted to really quickly just explain to you guys what I have on my lower lash line. So I basically did the same exact thing that I did on my lid on the lower lash lines. In the inner corner of the eye, I have the shade Mood, which is this like dark navy blue up here, and then I went in with the green, which is this one right here, a little bit of the lighter green to blend out that darker green, and just a touch of this black eyeshadow down here just to give the outer part of the eye a little bit of definition, and then I just added some white eyeshadow to my inner corner from my Riviera palette, which you guys will see in the video. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that really quickly because I was doing my lower lash line, and as I'm applying my mascara, you know, here and there, I usually glance at the monitor to make sure that it's still recording, make sure the SD card didn't get full, you know, that kind of stuff, YouTuber stuff. So I actually went ahead and looked at the monitor and it was not recording. Girl, I had a heart attack because I had already done both eyes. So yeah, so I just quickly wanted to let you guys know exactly what I did on the lower lash line, and that is basically it. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into today's video. Before we jump in, please don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys have not already, especially if you like today's makeup look. And of course, as always, if you guys would like to see how I created this makeup look right here, inspired by the one and only Mitchell, then just keep on watching. Okay, you guys, so jumping into today's eye look, of course, I'm going to prep my lid with my P. Louise base in the shade Rumor Number 2. And today's eye look is different, you guys. I actually didn't do my other eye off camera. I'm actually doing this look on camera for you guys. This is raw footage of me doing a look. Just, girl, it was a struggle. Like, I probably should have did the other eye and then came on camera and did this eye because this look took so long. But anyway, the P. Louise base is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and apply a generous layer to my eyelid. and make sure it's nice and blended. So moving on to the Be Perfect Carnival XL Pro palette. I love this palette. It's one of my favorites and probably one of my most used palettes ever. I have so many videos using this palette if you guys are interested. So I'm jumping into the shade Pep Talk. It's a beautiful light pink, but it is so pigmented, and with this base it is on another level. You guys, I love pink eyeshadow. It's so pretty. So basically what I'm doing is taking a small fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M506 brush. I will go ahead and leave the brush names on the screen. I'll be sure to do that while I'm editing the video so you guys can write down the brushes that I'm using if you're interested. So I'm taking this color and I'm basically putting it into the socket of my eye, and then I'm also going to go into the shade Funky, which is the color that I'm using right here, and I'm putting that right over the shade Pep Talk. So I did that all through that crease, and as you guys can see, I didn't take the cut crease too far out because this is going to actually get dragged up towards the brow, so you don't have to worry about dragging it too far out towards the tail of the brow. So now I'm going back in with the shade Pep Talk, which is the lighter pink, just to make sure everything is nice and blended, but this is going to take a little bit of blending, so you don't have to make it too perfect right now. Next, I'm going to jump into two more shades in the palette, the shades Reckless and Persuasion, and as you guys can see, I was showing you guys the colors at first, but then girl, this got a little bit too intense, so I was forgetting, but I did use those two shades and I mixed them together, and this is basically just to give us some definition into the crease of the eye. When I go ahead and cut my crease, you're barely going to see this color, but you're going to see just enough of it to where it has a really nice intensity and you see a really beautiful blend from dark to light. So this brush right here is one of my favorites. This is also a Morphe brush. It is the perfect detail brush for the crease. If you guys are working with a shade that you don't want to drag too high up towards the brow bone, or you want to work with a darker shade and not cover the really beautiful vibrant shades you already put down, which in my case is that really beautiful pink, this is going to keep the shadow exactly where you place the brush, which I think is amazing. So I went back in with the shade Pep Talk just to make sure everything was nice and blended, and once it was blended to perfection, it's now time to go ahead and cut the crease. So of course I'm using a Q-tip with some makeup remover. I always use my Garnier micellar water, the one with the pink cap. It is amazing. It doesn't leave your eyelids oily, so when you go ahead and use the base to cut the crease, there's no issues. So what I'm basically doing is cutting out the crease, but I'm dragging it up because I wanted to make sure that my eye looked lifted and not droopy. So that's what I did there, and I do usually go through about 3 or 4 Q-tips to do this method because they get dirty quickly. So to go ahead and actually cut the crease, I'm using my blank canvas base. No surprise, you guys, I'm literally scraping my last little bit out of this tube and it's devastating. I need to order another one as soon as possible. But yeah, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and cut my crease. This is actually another Morphe brush. You guys, if you like cut creases and you need a really good flat thin brush, this is it. You need to buy this one as soon as possible. Like I said, it will be on the screen. So now I'm just taking my time and really cutting the crease and kind of dragging the base down as I go. I don't know, I just feel like it makes my hand feel a little bit less shaky and it makes me a little bit less nervous. So I did the cut crease, and now we're gonna work on kind of like that second little cut crease that's only on the outer part of the eye. Girl, I don't know what the terminology is for this eye look, but you're gonna see what I'm doing. So I'm taking a small angle brush. I've had this brush for years. This is from the Sephora collection brushes. I don't know the name of this, but I will leave it on the screen if the name has not rubbed off. So I started off with the green, and I'm basically creating the shape. You guys, it's gonna be so hard for me to try to explain this, so I hope you can tell by what I'm doing. But I started off with the green, and then I went in with the lighter green. So I went in with the shade The Hype, Ecstasy, and then a little bit of the yellow, which is called Keen, which is on that outer part, so it had that really beautiful ombre. And then I just took a little bit more of blank canvas just to make sure the line is really crisp and clean. And then I'm going to go ahead and pat out the base on my eyelid because it got a little bit creasy since it was just sitting there while I did that part of the eye. So moving on to liner, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina Cake liners, and I'm using that really beautiful neon yellow. So as you guys can see, I already did the liner against the pink, which looked beautiful, and I was so happy, you guys. I was praying to the makeup gods that I did not mess this up, because you guys know, I've told you guys multiple times, I'm not a very good like graphic liner type of girl, but it's something that I definitely want to practice this year, and I think that I did a pretty good job. So now basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and outline that little piece that we just created, and I'm not taking it all the way out to the end of this shape. I'm only taking it halfway, and I did that because I really liked how the blend kind of faded out towards the end of the brow and even a little bit past the brow. And by the way, the brush that I'm using is from Michaels. It's just a regular paintbrush, but it's a very tiny precise one, and a makeup brush like this is hella expensive, so go to Michaels and get you a cheap affordable one. So now we're going to start on the eyelid itself. So I am using a paintbrush as well from Michaels, and basically what I'm doing is creating the shape. I've done this in another video as well, actually in 2 other videos, where you're kind of leaving the negative space. You're not taking the eyeshadow all the way up to where your crease actually is. So the first shade I started off with is a shade called Mood, which is a really nice deep blue, and then I went in with the shade Making Waves, and now I'm using the shade The Hype. So I'm basically using the same exact shades that I used on that little shape that we did underneath the pink on the eyelid itself. So for the outer corner of the eye, I'm going to create that little wing with the eyeshadow, so we have a guideline to know exactly how far we're going to drag the shadow. And I'm using that same angled brush, and I'm using the shade Ecstasy, which is the lighter green. So once I created the shape, now it's almost like a coloring book where you just kind of just fill it in. So that's what I did. So moving on to the Riviera palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. You guys know the white eyeshadow in here is my holy grail, and I'm going to be taking that white eyeshadow and basically going over all of the negative space that you see. This is just going to help to, number one, set the base, which blank canvas you don't really have to set because it's a self-setting base, but it's also going to brighten it because blank canvas is more of a skin tone color, and I wanted it to be a little bit lighter than that. So I did that with that same angled brush, and then I'm going back in with a tiny brush just to make sure that the eyelid has a really nice fade between colors. So moving on to the eyeliner on the outer part of the eye. You guys, this trick I saw on TikTok and it definitely works. So basically the trick is to go over the area where you're going to be applying your water activated eyeliner with the lash glue first. And what it's going to do, it's actually going to help to prevent the water activated eyeliner from cracking. If you guys struggle with cracky liner, definitely try this. It definitely works. I was blown away. So once that was done, I'm going to go ahead and add some liner to my lash line. This is just a black eyeliner. This is actually the Kylie Cosmetics black eyeliner. It was pretty good, but I really didn't use it that much on the eyes today, so you really can't judge it by just applying a black liner against your lash line. So the reason why I do that is so that way when I put on my falsies, you can't see any of the colorful eyeshadow in between my lashes and the false lashes. So I prepped my lashes with some mascara. That's the KKW Beauty Mascara. And then for lashes, I'm using the Pink Leaf Cosmetic lashes. I will leave the name of the lashes down below in the description box if you guys are interested. So moving on to the face makeup, I'm actually going to be using a primer water spray today. This is the e.l.f. Restoring Primer Water Spray. It is amazing, and these smell so good, and my skin has been really dry, so that's why I did that step. And you guys, I forgot primer today. Unbelievable. I'm over here talking about my skin is dry and I forgot to use a primer. But anyways, for foundation, I'm using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick and the Hourglass Vanish stick. And to go ahead and blend it out, I'm using this new sponge that I just got from Colored Rain. I just recently told you guys in a video that I got these sponges, and you guys, they're amazing, but I think they're too soft for me. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm gonna rip it, but so far so good. So moving on to cream bronzer, I'm using the Soul Body and Face cream, and I'm using mine in the shade Fair for today's video, and I'm using it with my Fenty Beauty face brush. Perfect brush for any cream products that you own, cream blush, cream bronzer. And then for concealer, I'm using my Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. I know I promised that I wasn't going to use this concealer as much, but I wanted something really beautiful, brightening, and full coverage, and for me, that is all those things in this one concealer. So I did that, and I just wanted to make sure the under eye was really nice and bright, and you guys, this concealer just never lets me down. So to go ahead and set my under eye, I'm actually using the One Size Translucent Powder. You guys, this powder is a really nice powder. It's definitely a high-end powder, so it's a little bit more expensive than my usual collab one, but it is so worth every penny. It's a really nice soft focus powder that's really going to give you a flawless finish all day. Like, it does not budge all day. It is amazing. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm using my Jouer. This is the Hydrate and Set Powder. This one is in the shade Light Medium, and I'm just making sure everything is nice and set because, like I said, I don't want anything to budge or move around. So moving on to bronzer, I'm going to be using actually the MAC bronzer, but girl, I'm not using dark tan, okay? I know you guys are tired of dark tan. I'm using Give Me Sun in today's video, so that's the bronzer I'm applying. It's a really nice bronzer. I just feel like on my skin tone, it's a little bit orange, but you know what? It's fine. So moving on to blush, I'm using my favorite blush palette. This is the Pro Fusion Blush 3 palette, specifically the number 3. And I just honestly dragged my brush into every single shade, into the entire palette, and applied it to my cheeks that way. It is so beautiful. And then I'm using my Dior Face Glow highlighter palette. This one is in the shade Pure Gold. I'm obsessed with this. It's so good and it's pretty expensive, but if you guys want to splurge, it is definitely a bomb highlight palette, and you get 4 highlighters in here, so it's definitely worth it. So that is basically it. I'm going to go back in with my blush brush just to make sure everything is nice and blended and the face makeup is done. So like I said, I don't have footage of the lower lash line, so we're going to move into the lips. So I'm starting off with my KKW lip liner in the shade Nude number 2. Of course, it is my favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with that. And then for liquid lipstick, I'm going in with my Laura Lee Los Angeles liquid lipstick in the shade Nakey Nakey. Nothing new. I'm doing my usual lip combo. So I filled my lips in with that, and then I'm going in with a little bit of my Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade I'm Nude. And I'm going to go ahead and take a tiny like fluffy brush. This is actually meant for eyeshadow, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. Now, I did want my nude lip combo to be a little bit pinker today, so I'm taking 2 of these P. Louise bases. One is Zero, which is the pure white, and then the other one is called Winter Rose, which is a beautiful pastel pink. So I basically just mixed the 2 together on the back of my hand, applied it with the brush, and it was perfect. So the only thing I didn't show on camera was my gloss. Last minute I decided to add a gloss, and it's the Jordana Tisha gloss in the shade Beige, I believe. So moving on to setting my face, I'm using my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Mist, and that basically completes today's makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed my recreation of this Mondays by Mitchell. It was so fun to do. Definitely a little bit frustrating, definitely challenging, but that's exactly what I'm trying to do with my makeup game in 2021. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.